Hey, it's Nina Carmichael, and we made these videos because you're probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more, and you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband Evan Carmichael, on how to boost your level of confidence. Enjoy! Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Do difficult things.
Self-confidence comes from doing difficult things. Every time you come across something difficult and you don't do it, you're telling yourself that you suck. But every time you find that difficult task and you go for it, you're telling yourself you're amazing. Until you start showing yourself that you do difficult things, you'll never get the confidence that you need, and you'll constantly live a life below what you know you're capable of. So I recently got back from a Vid Summit, an event in LA. I went to meet Matt Gielen as well, who's one of the top YouTube experts, somebody who I like to collaborate with and I take advice from when I have questions. And he suggested splitting up my channel even further on YouTube. Splitting my channel up even further on YouTube so that the main channel is Only Believe Life, and the Top 10 series has its own dedicated channel. And so he suggested I split up my channel in, I want to say March. We did it in March. I split up the channel in March. Even this video is on a different channel. It started in March. And now I'm filming this in November. So far, none of the smaller channels have really taken off. I could see it working longer term. It's been a much longer journey than I thought would happen. Welcome to entrepreneurship. And so when I went to go meet him in LA, he said, Evan, you got 2 options. One option you're really gonna like. The other one you're not gonna like so much. Like, okay, let me know, what do you got? Option number 1, which is the one you're gonna like, is bring everything back to one channel. Put it all back on one channel and just keep making as much content as you can across one channel. Like, okay. Option number 2 is split it up even more so that you have one series per channel. He said, you're not gonna like that because it's a lot more work. And he doesn't know me well enough yet to know that I love the difficult. I love the work. So then I asked him, well, I'm not afraid of the work. Assuming the work wasn't the problem, which one's gonna do better? Which one do you think would do better? There aren't a lot of case studies. There aren't a lot of people who've done this, right? There's nobody in my industry has done this. Nobody in my industry was making 3 videos a day to start with, let alone then split it up into multiple channels. Splitting it up will work better. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. In the moment. Even though it's scary, it's difficult, my heart's beating, like, oh, all of that work that went in. Moving to Top 10 series. This is one of the most iconic series on my channel, right? My first Kanye West video that started the whole thing, and we're moving it onto a different channel is heartbreaking, but also progress, hopefully. Fingers crossed. That's the ultimate goal. But sitting on that decision for a month doesn't help anything. The worst thing that can happen is here's a scary thing that I don't know if I want to do, and then waiting 3 months to make a decision and losing 3 months of momentum. That's where most people fall down. Nobody knows if this is going to work or not. Matt has a theory. I have a theory. We're going to test it and see. Nobody's done it. We'll see. It might be the greatest move of all time or the stupidest thing I've ever done. I don't know. We'll see. I won't know until I go off and do it. And therefore I have to do it. That's the mindset. And so in the moment, say, yes, we're gonna do this thing. We're not gonna dilly-dally along. Dilly-dally. We're not gonna procrastinate. We're not gonna wait, right? Because momentum is our friend. We need to get as much momentum as possible. And so in that meeting, we laid out, okay, a month transition for me to get the people on my team on board, for training, new people switching roles. There's a lot of work that has to happen to coordinate all these extra channels. What's an aggressive timeline? A month. Okay, great. Then we're gonna do it in a month. I got back from LA, and then I said, I can't wait a month. Even though that's the aggressive timeline, a month is the aggressive timeline. I can't wait a month. It's gonna destroy me. Just the way that my mind works. Like, I need it to happen right now. It's the only thing I can focus on. This has to happen. I'm not gonna wait a month. And so I messaged everybody on my team and said, here's what we're doing. And yeah, it's gonna happen this weekend. I got back on like a Tuesday or something. Like, by this coming weekend, we're gonna launch the new channel. We're gonna split it up. We have to figure out all the roles, responsibilities. We'll figure it all out. We're gonna make mistakes. Here's the thing, we're gonna make some mistakes. It's not gonna be perfect. We've already made a bunch of mistakes, and huge credit to my team because the mistakes that we made are not major. You probably, unless you're like insane, super hardcore fan and massive attention to detail, didn't catch them. They bother the crap out of me, but we didn't make that many mistakes, and we put it up. And so it's being comfortable with making some mistakes because momentum is your friend. And so that's how you gain confidence, by doing difficult things, by saying yes, by taking on the challenges, by diving into the unknown, because you might make a big mistake or it might be the greatest thing of all time, but you won't know until you go off and try.
Rule number 2, learn from different people.
I think most people never find their greatness. I think everybody has Michael Jordan level talent at something. You could be the Michael Jordan of something, and most people never find it. Most people come nowhere even close to finding it. Most people wake up and they drive to a job that they hate so that somebody else can build their dreams. You are working every single day so that somebody else can build their dreams instead of working on understanding yourself and building your own dreams. And I think the starting point is, if you have no idea what you have Michael Jordan level capabilities in, then that should be your immediate goal. Your immediate goal in life is to figure out what can you be the Michael Jordan at. And there's 3 main ways that people close themselves off to learning that really hold themselves back. And I want to shatter these expectations and belief systems right now in this video. The first is that people often only want to learn from people who look like them. And that's from a physical appearance. Like, men only want to learn from men. They won't respect learning from a woman. White people only want to learn from white people. Black people only want to work from black people. Asians only want to learn from Asians. If you restrict yourself to me being a white guy, to only learning from white guys, I'm never going to reach my potential. It's never going to happen. In this video right now, we're learning from Oprah Winfrey. It's a white guy learning from a black woman. I love it. If Oprah has a message that can help me get better, I'm going to embrace it. Now, I may not be able to relate to every message that she puts out there, but if she has a single message that's going to make me better, I want to hear it. I want to consume it. And too many of you are locked into only learning from somebody who looks exactly like you, and that will limit your growth. The second thing you need to break through is, if you see one thing that you don't like about somebody, you write that entire person off. This is partly why I started the top 10 rules, because I made a video on Kanye West, because people hate on Kanye West because of all the things that he does in public and his stunts, and sometimes puts his foot in his mouth. And that's fine, you don't have to agree with that. But this is a lot that you can still learn from Kanye West to help you become better. If you cannot learn from Kanye West because he does 1 or 2 or 10 things that you disagree with, then you're not putting him in a box, you're putting yourself in a box. You have put yourself in a box of how you will grow and learn. And just by that very definition, you're never going to get to where you want to be. So I have a big poster of Steve Jobs on my wall in my home office. I love Steve Jobs for the visionary, but how he treated people, I don't want to learn to treat people like Steve Jobs. How he was a father, he's not going to be my role model for that. But to be a visionary, I love that. Thinking big, put a dent in the universe, I love that, and I can learn from that. And so there may be 99 things that you hate about somebody, but if they've had success, you can learn that one thing. That's what your goal is. Your goal is not to be the next Steve Jobs, it's to be the best version of you. And you get that by taking different pieces from different people. You could be the Steve Jobs visionary, and you can be a great, caring, loving person, right? You could be a great family person as well. And so you're taking one thing from Steve Jobs, and one thing from Seth Godin, and one thing from Oprah, and one thing from Mother Teresa to make that unique creature called you. Also, if you want to have more self-confidence and self-belief, check out my 254 series, where every day for the next 254 days, I will send you an unlisted video. The science says it takes up to 254 days of consecutive action to build a habit. So I'm going to be with you every step of the way. If you want to be on for free, 100% free, is a link below. Go check it out. I'll see you there.
So I highly recommend that you print off 20 to 30 copies of your book before it goes to final print, and just get feedback from people who are inside your target market and outside, just to get tips, suggestions.
And what you need to do is inoculate yourself against the judgment and learn to take action on your ideas, because the alternative is a life filled with regret.
Surround yourself with greatness. If you want to be more confident, you need to surround yourself with things that make you feel confident.
Rule number 3, start as a warm-up.
Whenever you're feeling like you're at your breaking point, like it's the max, you can't go any further, whether it's in the gym when you're lifting dumbbells, or whether it's making an extra phone call or doing that extra little bit of work, right? You're at your max, you can't go anymore. Just use this little mindset trick. Tell yourself, this is just a warm-up. I'm capable of more. And what that does is lets you go a little bit further. This thing that's overwhelming, that's impossible, that nobody can handle, that it's just like, it's at your max, right? Whatever overwhelming situation you're facing right now, if you feel like that's your max, then you're not gonna grow further. If being able to make a decision about my YouTube channels, I'm splitting them up, was impossible for me, if that was my max, then it means that I can't do something bigger. I think I'm capable of more. I think you're capable of more. I think the problems that are in your life right now that you think are overwhelming are nothing compared to what you're actually capable of. And as long as you tell yourself that this is your max, then you don't grow to the next step. So tell yourself that this is just a warm-up, that you're capable of so much more. And what that does is let you go another step, another step, another step, and see, holy cow, I'm growing, I'm getting stronger, I'm getting better.
Rule number 4, eliminate negative belief.
Whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. Right? Whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. One of the biggest reasons why entrepreneurs don't win, because you don't believe in yourself enough. It's why do I have this channel? Why is my one word believe? Look at the back of Nina's sweater. There it is, right? Believe. That's it. It's so important. There's so many, you guys are geniuses. There's so many geniuses, massively talented people out there with amazing ideas that can change the world, but you don't go off and crush it because you don't believe in yourself enough. I think the two biggest problems in the world are, one, recognizing that you have Michael Jordan level talent at something, believing that you have something in you, that you're not meant to just wake up and photocopy your life every day working for somebody else, just believing that. And two, then believing in that ability. Believing that you have Michael Jordan level talent at something, and then when you found it, believing in it enough to chase it down every day to get better, because you need to beat on your craft, because it may be something that's totally outside what is normal in your family, because it may be something way outside what is normal for your culture or your society or your community, but you have to go off and do that crazy thing. And it's really hard to believe in yourself enough to chase it down, especially when it's against what everybody around you is saying and what they believe. And so, great, yes, I need to believe in myself, amazing. How do you do it? What's the process? How do you gain self-belief? I'm gonna give you 2 strategies that will work extremely well, can work for anybody, can work for you, because it's time that you step into your greatness. Number 1, you need to eliminate the negativity in your life and replace it with belief. So think about, what are the thoughts, who are the people, what are the things around you that keep you where you are, that keep these negative patterns in your head? Is it your parents? Is it your friends? Is it the TV shows you're watching, the media you're consuming? Like, what is it that is toxic, that makes you feel small? And as much as possible, you either cut it out of your life or reduce the exposure.
Rule number 5, the last one before our very special bonus clip, be your biggest critic and fan.
Be your biggest critic as well as your biggest fan. I think people can actually be harder on themselves. For as much self-loathing and negativity and self-hate that's in the system right now, I think people actually should be harder on themselves. The problem is people don't love themselves enough. You're your biggest critic. I think most people would be their own biggest critic right now, but you're not your biggest fan. You have to be both at the same time. The amount that you criticize yourself needs to be balanced with an equal amount of love. All of the critique that I want, like tell me I suck, tell me my videos suck, tell me how to get better, is all based off of I love what I do. I think I have the greatest channel on YouTube. I think I'm amazing, right? It's all the foundation of love that then it's easy to take to criticism. But when you're being criticized and you're criticizing yourself and you don't love yourself at the same time, that's destructive, it's negative, it goes deeper, it goes darker, right? So I think most people could actually handle more self-criticism. I think you should be even harder on yourself, but you have to come way up on the self-love side. You need to learn to be your biggest critic as well as your biggest fan.
Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy, but before that, it's time for the question of the day. I wanna know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? When you watch a video and you get motivated, the science says you have a 35% chance of following through. That's not enough. But when you write down what time, what place, and how you're going to actually take action on it, you jump to 91% chance of following through. And when you have public accountability and you commit to other people that you're gonna do it, it jumps to 95% that you will follow through. So I want that for you, Believe Nation. I wanna know your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week. Put it down in the comments below so I can celebrate you. The number one most important rule, if you wanna have success, if you wanna reach your goals, if you want to accomplish your dreams, the number one rule is you have to love what you do. I have studied more successful people than most people in the work that I've done across my YouTube channels in the past decade plus and on my website before that. 20 years, it's been 20 years. How old am I? I'm 40. I started doing this when I was 22. Almost 20 years of studying successful people. The number one rule that keeps coming up, whether you're an athlete, an entrepreneur, an innovator, a musician, a singer, over and over and over across all fields, is that you love what you do. And we fall into this trap. We fall into this trap of chasing opportunity, of chasing the hot next thing, and what ends up happening, think about it, we've all been burned. I've been burned, you've been burned, we've all been burned of chasing the hot opportunity that we think is gonna make us a quick buck. And then we end up losing our shirt. We end up losing, hopefully not losing everything, but we end up losing because we never actually love the thing. Why so many entrepreneurs fail, right? Why do so many entrepreneurs fail? Why, whether it's 80% or 90%, you look at the stats, most entrepreneurs fail. Why? Because they're not doing the thing that they love. I had a guy yesterday on my stream. So I do a YouTube stream about 4 times a week where I'm playing League of Legends and answering your business questions. So I'm doing the stream last night and a guy pops on. He's like, I've got so many ideas of what I could do. So many ideas. I want to start a business. I've got so many ideas. Which one should I pick? And I said, okay, well, hey, you got me live. Let's do some live coaching. Pitch me your ideas. Tell me what you got and tell me where it came from. Because almost any idea can work. The difference is your love and enthusiasm for it. Because the thing that gets you through the difficult, the hard, the impossible road that's ahead of you is that you just love doing the thing. Where if you don't love it, you're gonna quit as soon as it gets hard. That's the problem. So his first idea he pitches and he said, ever since I was young, I had this problem and I overcame it and here's my idea to help other people. Like, yes, that one, that's the idea. It's like, okay, but I got another idea that my cousin came to me with a hot opportunity. Like, no. I don't even want to hear the idea. No, stop that thinking. Right now, immediately, no. No. Do not go into business with your cousin chasing down some hot opportunity. The first one. The first one is where you need to be. The first one. The thing that you were struggling with growing up and you solve for yourself and you want to help other people. That is your $1 million idea plus. And not just making money, impact, service, feeling like what you're doing is important.
And if you want to learn how to develop real and lasting confidence, check out the video next to me. I think you're gonna enjoy. Continue to believe. I will see you there.
What do you say when you see yourself in the mirror? When it's just you, when you're all alone, it's just you see yourself in the mirror, what do you say? When you face adversity and you tell yourself it's too difficult,